So I should have everything in there now. So now I can carry on with this. So for now, I'll just kind of turn off the preview of this Xgen here. I don't turn off preview this Xgen here, so I'll just some options there. So it's called clear current description only. So I'll just click on that. So the airs should not be visible anymore. Okay, let me just make it visible. I want to do something in here. So let me just do a quick save first. I want to have the ambient occlusion showing in here. One of this. Let's try this. Yes. Screen base, ambient, screen base, screen space, ambient occlusion. So we should kind of make the air slightly or a bit more visibly in there. Something like this should be fine. So carrying on, let me turn this off now. But I'm guessing I would like to make it a bit more or slightly more shiny, or maybe even a bit thicker than it is right now, so I can properly visualize it. So I'll just delete one of this and just add 3 in there. The final render should be on 0.1 instead. I'm just doing this so I can properly visualize this. Okay, so let me turn this off. Let's see if there's something else we can do before moving on. Under the preview, the guide color should be just fine. There's something else we can do in here. But if we go to the attributes editor and select all of this, I think we should be able to find this Xgen shader in there. So let me just come to the outliner and select that description. Yes, selecting that description now, I will just come in here and select this air physical shader. I would like the, let's see if I can, let's brighten this up a bit more. Let's brighten up the root color a bit more so we can properly, so we can kind of see this in there. So this should be fine now. This should be fine for now. Let's go back to the Xgen tab. Density of the air. Let me just take down the density of the air. Okay, now turn this up now. So now let's just keep creating some more guides for this. So the way I prefer to do this to kind of map out where the air should be with the air guide. So I know the air should be, I'm not supposed to, I think, supposed to delete this center one, the center piece. I'm supposed to delete. Let me just make sure I drag this out of the way. Just put this around here instead. Now select this guide. Select the scope tool. Just come in here and select object mode. select this. Yes, so basically I'm pretty sure you guys have to kind of move this. So if you want to kind of move the guide, all you have to do is going to add or move guide. So select that, add or move guide. You have to make sure you're on the guide. Make sure your mouse cursor is on the guide. Then you hold down control. Then select the middle mouse scroll. Then you can hold down the middle mouse scroll. Then you can move this to a different location. That's basically how to move the guides. So let me just put this around here. So you want to kind of leave some gap at the center. Why? Because I'm going to kind of focus on just one side. Then I can easily mirror this to the other side. So you want to kind of leave some gap in the center. So when you kind of do a mirror, there won't be intersections with guides that you created in the center point. So you want to leave some space in the center. So back to creating guide. So I'm going to kind of map out the farthest point or the farthest edge for this top description. So that's like all the way around here. So that is basically all the way around this. I'm just going to map out a guide around here like so. So let's kind of get this at a good angle like so. I think we should have, no, there's no, okay. Probably let's just get this almost at the same angle. So at the same angle like so. Let's just start dropping in a few guide. We have to keep in mind that there's more like a transition to this. We're going to fix that later. Let's just more or less like get something in there. So I'm basically leaving considerable gaps in between. Intentionally leaving considerable gaps in between. Because like I said initially in the previous lesson, you want to kind of start with something low. Then later you can adjust that. Okay. The center should be around here. So let me just put something not very close to the center, somewhere around here. Right, something like this should be fine. You can see I'm basically just kind of mapping out this downward slope around this. Let me see if I can find another reference image that should get to here. This is a but it's not very obvious, but I think I can just use this to kind of illustrate where or illustrate what I'm trying to do. Or maybe probably use something else that is a bit more, yes, this is definitely a bit more accurate. It's definitely a bit more accurate. You can see more or less like the flow around this. So I'm more or less kind of mapping out this region like so around here. Let me see if I can just do a screenshot of this. Just take a screenshot of this. Do this here. So basically, I'm just kind of make sure our reference. Let me just put this to the side. Make sure our reference is in here, so you guys can actually see. So like so. So I'm basically trying to map out something that goes across like so. Something like this. So you can see how I'm kind of placing these new guides around each point. Probably use another color for this. Let's use blue. Basically doing something like this, a point here, point here, point here, point here, and at the back also. Just to kind of block out a good base let's kind of map this out. Every other thing in here, I'm still going to drop another one in here, and in here, like so. Then we can have some random version of them, but I try as much as possible not to have them too randomized, because while generating air, we kind of randomize them procedurally by itself. So I always prefer to kind of have something in form of rows and column. Like for example now, since I have this in this row, the next one should be like around here, around here, around here, around here. Same also with this. Same also with this. Okay. Then after creating this, I can now begin to add another one like here, in here, in here, like so. Kind of fill up most of those empty gap in here, in here, in here. So this is more or less like a framework of the guide that I'm going to be creating on the end. Kind of following this pattern, keep things a bit more organized. Then when I kind of generate air on top of this, it should automatically kind of generate them across the surface randomly. So that's basically my thought process for this. So carrying on. Now the really big issue in here is that not too sure where this center point of the air should be. So I'm just going to kind of do this by kind of doing this by high. So let me just mark out somewhere close to the center. Let's see around here. And something here. Okay. So probably something more or less like this could be fine. Let's see. This is a good base though. This is a good starting point for all of this. So I'll go to selection tool. I'll select. Let me start by selecting this. Now I'm not too sure how many points are on here. Let's check control points. So we have 5 points in there. That should be at least fine for now. So I'll go to the scale tool. Come back to the selection. Object selection. Select this. I'll go to the scale tool. Scale this out a bit more. Probably going to select the others also. Select all of this in this range. Probably just scale them out a bit, like so. And I can select this. I'll go to the sculpting tool. I don't want to have them looking completely straight, so I'll just try to bend them just a little. So come in here and select this also. Go to the sculpt tool. Bend this a little. Same in here. So it shouldn't be like completely straight. It's kind of look more or less more like an S form shape in there. Now you always want to keep in mind that this is just majorly doing block parts right now. So there's still going to be quite a lot of corrections in here to kind of get this to look right based on our reference image. Okay. So we just keep deforming and changing the shape up a bit more. Okay. Then this at the back. I'm guessing I need to kind of move this out a bit more. You kind of select this first. I'll go to the move and add guide, because I feel there's way too much gap around here. So middle mouse scroll, hold the control and then just move this somewhere like here, something like this should be fine. So we're basically trying to average in between the spacing. Kind of trying to average in between them. So back to the sculpt tool. Okay. Now the idea for this is that you want to kind of keep gravity also in mind. So you want to kind of make sure they are more or less being as if they are being pushed down a bit more. So you don't kind of have them straight like this. Having them so straight like this makes it look quite unnatural, because making sure or keeping gravity in mind, you want to kind of make sure they are being pulled down slightly. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing also. Okay, I can just use the rotate tool instead and just slightly push this. Yes, it's a better way to do it. Kind of push this down. But keeping in mind, you don't want to kind of overdo it. You want to kind of make sure you kind of put in a transitional flow to it. Okay. This one should be pulled, say backward a bit more. Grab it down to the side. Something more or less like this is a good base. Okay. So just to make sure my symmetry is working correctly, I will select all of this. I want to be sure if each side is being flipped mirror across X. So let's click on this. Yeah, that's fine. So that's fine. That seems to work correctly. So we're basically working on the right hand side, and then we'll now flip the right hand side back to the left hand side. So keeping that in mind, let's carry on with this. So like I explained also initially about the transition, let's start having something. So start creating guide. So let's kind of show you guys something. So if I come in here close to this and then just click in here, let's see if that works. So I can actually show you guys. Yes, it actually works. So I'm gonna click close to this other guide in here. This new guide being created will kind of try to force itself, kind of get or kind of follow the flow or the shape of this of the guide closest to it, which is more or less like this particular guide. So if I take this to the side, we can see how it tries as much as possible to kind of get that shape to it. Though it's not completely accurate, but at least it kind of helps to kind of capture a better structural flow to the shape, to the guide that is more closest to it. So just to avoid us kind of redoing or kind of sculpting this again. It's gonna capture this deformed shape in there. Let's do something similar also here. So like I said initially, kind of doing this in form of like rows and column. Okay. So come in here, I'll do the same thing in here also. Let's do a quick save. So we might need to manipulate this a bit more. I'm gonna change this up just a little. Okay. Now you should keep in mind also, based on the shape of the surface, you should kind of keep in mind that some guys might appear a bit higher than the others because of the height or the deformation of that surface, which also kind of helps also in a way. So avoiding the center points. Click something in here. No, let's create a new guide in here. Click another one in here. We already have this here. Then let's create one around here like so. So we have some major gaps in here that we'll probably need to fill up later on. But carrying on, let's just kind of maintain the flow of this. Now this particular one is way too cool, so let's just put this here. Okay. We're basically creating something that we can easily manage. Let's see, probably one around here. This particular one feels a little bit out of place. Let's fill up this gap. I'll create something in here and in here, in here and in here also. Something more or less like this should be fine. So I'll select all of this and let's do a mirror. So let us mirror this to the other side. Then now we can tackle okay, we have something and we have an extra piece in here. So let me just select this piece and then just move this towards the center. Maybe even directly on the center, like so. Okay. So now we can fill up the gaps now in the center. We should have one here also, here and here, here and here, here also and here. Probably one around here in front. Here and here, here also. One in the center, here and here, like so. Okay. So something more like this. I'm sure you guys might say, now this feels way too much. Well, it is, but it's something that we can at least control. Something that we can at least control. It's not that we have this in here now. So let's generate some hairs out of this. So let's click on this and allow Xgen generate hairs from this. So right off the bat we have something pretty much like so. Let's see if this okay. You can see how hairs have been generated in here now. Let me just do a quick save for this. Don't know if I should turn on this anti-aliasing. Yes, turning on this anti-aliasing kind of gives a better result to the Xgen, to each Xgen strand. But you notice that how this feels a bit weird here. It's kind of generating hairs around here. But in this portion, not so much. But it don't really matter though. You just want to kind of see air being generated on top of this. Now if you take a closer, I don't know if you guys can see this. Take a closer look at this. Let's see. Okay. Though we're supposed to have something. Let's kind of generate a bit more out of this. Let's generate a bit more. So that should auto update. So you can see now some airs being spawned out of this. But you can see how in regions where we don't have guys very close to where the airs are trying as much as possible to kind of do their own things, kind of do like an average in between the direction of where the air should go should kind of face based on the closest air guide to it. But I think for the most part this seems to be just fine. This should work just fine. I believe this should work just fine. Though from a glancing angle it looks a bit off. But at least it's brain. I'm basically trying to check the direction of this. Just to be sure if nothing is kind of flowing in a direction that is way too abrupt that we need to kind of fix. And a good example is around here. You can see the direction in here is kind of a bit weird. Feels a bit weird. So you can come in here and kind of add another extra guide. Probably add one guide here. Probably one here also. Now probably I'll probably even delete this instead. Let's generate some airs again for this. I think this is giving us a slightly better result. It's not so abrupt like the previous one. But now another thing is that we don't want the airs to be growing everywhere. We don't want the airs to be growing in the entire place. So let's kind of specify where we want the hair to go out from. So to do that, we need to kind of create a max. Let me just do a quick save again for this. To do that, we have to create a max for this. Kind of tell Xgen where we want our hairs to go out from. So let's temporarily hide the hair now. And let's draw out a region where we want the hairs to go out from. So to do that, we would just come in here, select this drop down arrow. Just come in here and select this drop down arrow. Then we'll click on create map. But first, let's do a quick save because I do not trust Xgen. You can just suddenly close by itself. So let's come here and click on create map. Now for this, we would need to the map resolution 5 should be fine though, but let's just keep this at, let's see, resolution of 30. Then we want this to be on full black. We want this to be on full black. Then we need to kind of name this to head, underscore center underscore density. Let's just put den underscore max. Okay, then we'll click on create. Then let's turn off. Okay, still loading. Okay, then this should automatically jump into the Maya's painting tool. So let's stop generating airs from this. Let's turn off auto. Let's just turn off. Click on the drop down arrow and turn off auto updates preview automatically, because we prefer to kind of do this manually. So carrying on, let's come here and double click on this tool, kind of visualize what we have in there. So now we have this soft brush profile, and then we have this solid brush profile. So I'll prefer to use this solid brush profile, so because I don't want to kind of have air springing up from places that I don't want them to spring out from, and that seems to happen a lot when you kind of use this soft brush profile. So let us stick with this hard brush profile. So we kind of chose black because we're not gonna fill the entire thing with black first. So I don't want to block this in here. Let's just collapse this outline up for now. Put this here. I don't want to. Yes. So the next thing is to kind of paint out where we want the air to kind of grow out from. So let's basically kind of maxing out where we want the air to grow out from. Now looking at this now, I feel this place there's too much gap in here, so I'm coming here. I'm just going to come in here and then add another guide in here, another one in here, like so should be fine. Then I'll come back in here and then click on this. Just click on this too. Let's do a quick save. You always want to do a quick save in here because this can just crash at any time while using Xgen. So to go back to the paint tool, just come in here and click on this. That will jump us right into the paint tool. So we kind of max out where we want the air to go out from. So we're going to make sure this is on full white. So we're starting this on full white. Then there's one more thing we need to do. There's one more thing we need to do. And before we do that, let's just do another. Not quick save. Let's not save yet. But come in here and click on assign and edit texture. So once gonna paint this as 2K resolution. So click assign and edit textures. Good. Then let's click on save texture. Good. The reason why we're clicking on save texture is because this is a texture file, and is saving this into our project file. Don't know if you can see. Okay, let's just paint something on there first, then we can now save and then I'll show you guys what I mean. So the idea is that we're gonna make sure you're saving this texture and then you're also saving it also in here. So you're basically saving it in two places, saving it here and saving it here also. So kind of make sure it's being saved into the project file. It's very important. So if we go to stylus pressure, let's put this on not stylus pressure, should be on stroke. So we want to make sure this is on reflect. This is basically more or less like having symmetry in here. So to increase the brush, let me just increase the brush size. I don't know what's going on right now. Let's come back in here. I want to increase the brush size. Increasing the brush size seems to be giving me so much of an issue in here. Which is rather odd. Supposed to be it's gonna increase it. I tried the other setting. It's supposed to work. I don't know why it's not working. Control B, a middle mouse tool. So Maya seems to have crashed. I just reopened this again. So let me just make sure I'm on the correct project. Set project. Okay, so selecting this again, let's go back to the paint tool. So to increase and reduce the brush size, click on this auto updates. Just hold the B key, then you can increase and decrease this. So we have to make sure this is on symmetry. So double click on this again. Just collapse this for now. Save texture, assign texture on 2K, that's fine. Collapse this. Then on stroke, so strain reflection, so this should kind of work on both sides. So now I want to paint white on this. So let's double click this again. I want to paint white. So this is full blood fill, so this is the color in here. So let's paint this on full white. I'm making sure that this is the one we need to use. This solid brush. Solid brush should be fine. So basically painting white around here. So basically following where those guides are. You don't need to be absolutely accurate in here though. You just need to paint something in here. So let me increase the brush size a bit more. Kind of blood fill this size. Something like this should be fine as a good base. It should be fine. Now, the next thing we need to do now is kind of blur out the edges. This should be just fine based on our reference. So before you continue, let's make sure you kind of click on save in here. You can actually save these marks. So click on save. Come in here also, click on where is the file texture. Click on save here also. So let's reduce this brush size like so. Then come in here. Before I do that, let's kind of preview what this is showing us in here. Let's preview this. So we can temporarily hide our guide. So let's just temporarily hide the guide. Come in here and just click on this to update. So you can see how we kind of isolated the air to kind of grow only on the regions where it's painted white. Only on the region where it's painted white. This is more or less like precisely what we want for this. So this will be just fine. So now let's kind of make sure, because if you notice in here, there's more of a transition to it. There's more of like a transition to it. You can see how the airs in here are more. Here is more thicker, it's more dense in here compared to how it kind of fades into this region. You can see it properly. I'm sure you guys can see this. So this particular one even gives us a clearer idea of the direction of the air. You can see how the air is being coiled in by itself. So if we were to create these hairs on the side, probably need to kind of make some more or less like a hook kind of curve to it with this part of the hair. So another thing to keep in mind is that you probably need to kind of let's use this as another guide. So you can see how there's more or less like a transitional flow to this. So I want to kind of mimic similar effects on the edge. So what I'm going to do is let's kind of review this our air guide again. So from this point, let's turn this off. Okay, let's turn this off rather in here. So more or less from this point, I'll kind of fade this out a bit more. So to do that, you just need to kind of blur out the edges. Just basically need to blur out the edges. So we should come in paint operation, come into blur. But I think a better way to do this is I think holding shift should kind of holding down shifts and you paint over this should kind of blur this out. So let's just do that. Holding shift, we can blur out the edges a bit more. Now since we're having an issue in here, let's just blur this out. I'll begin to paint that back in though. But let's just blur the edges out for now. Then I'll just paint this back in like so, and just keep blowing this out even more. Like so. Okay, this should be fine. So now let's just do a quick save. Let's save this in here. Come in here also and do a save for this. Save this also. So I want to turn off this symmetry now. So I'll turn off reflection for this. And I'll hold down shift and then just blur out. we're still having the same issue. Let me just blow this out manually like so. Probably take down the brush size and just paint this white in here. Hold down shift and keeps springing up this issue. Let me just paint this back. I'm not going to paint this in aggressively, so I just do lighter stroke on this with the pen pressure. So now with this now you can generate hairs for this again. So let's just generate hairs from this. So if you come in here, notice how the hair kind of fades in properly. This one faded ones coming out of this a bit more. It's more or less like precisely what we want. So I'm just going to go back in here. Now I'll still like to kind of blur this out, but the blur is going to be very small, so a smaller value, not very strong or harsh value to it. More or less like a softer value to it. And maybe even with a smaller brush size. So let's use a smaller brush size. And let's just blur out these edges a bit more. A bit more of a gentle blur to it. Something like this should be fine. Then let's just save this again. Do a quick save in here. Save in here also. Then let's generate the hairs for this. Let's hide the guide. Another thing we can do in here is to come in here. Let's review the body. So I've reviewed the body now. I can see how the hair grows in around this region. It's more or less precisely what we want. And we can also use this kind of figure out where the front of the hair should kind of be or where it should kind of stop. This seems almost fine. This seems almost fine. I think somewhere around here seems just about right. I think maybe I just need to paint a bit more, like somewhere around here, a bit closer. Maybe even leave it like so. Whichever one works for you though, but it's more or less trying to average in between where it's supposed to be. But for the most part, this should work just fine as a good base. So this is where we're going to stop for today. So in the next lesson, we're going to carry on with adding some modifiers to this, like some clump modifiers, and kind of make it look a bit more similar to this, to what we have in here. So let me just look at this again, just to be sure of the height of. I think the height of this should be just fine. Should not be too high, though. I think something like this should work. Should work just fine for this. So let's just do a quick save, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.